Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another, well, I guess, weekly dose of hashtag Clownfish was right. I wish we weren't right. I wish we weren't, but a lot of people are getting laid off in the animation industry. Jobs are very hard to come by, and things are getting worse because of the impending sale of Warner Brothers. Remember, Warner Brothers does own a lot of different animation divisions, including Warner Brothers Animation and Cartoon Network, and it's not looking so good.
No.
Animators are out on the animation career subreddit. Again, don't contact any of these people. Don't harass them. This is not the point of the video. But I've been keeping tabs on this just to see, hey, were we right or wrong about the state of the industry right now? And unfortunately, we're very correct. Things are very, very bad right now. There are people saying they're dropping out of school. What's the point?
Hey, look, here's my thing. I'm sorry. I do feel bad to some extent. That being said, I'm going to say this and you're going to be mad. I don't care. We've told you for like 2 years now that this was happening. This is going to happen. We told you ways that you didn't have to give it up, but things you could do to prepare for it. Maybe go do something else, start your own thing, etc., etc. We took so much crap, like unbelievable loads of crap for saying it. Well, you're antis, you're against animation. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You know, that one chick kept making videos about us and everything.
Oh my
else.
God, there's an entire, like, I'm not even kidding. There's an entire YouTube channel from somebody that was an animator, young animator, made an entire YouTube channel about us. And it was like, and then it turned out that she was pretty much wrong about everything, but whatever.
But I'm just saying, we've been telling you, and this was coming. And then you all like talked shit and didn't listen. It's like, well, there was the ant and the grasshopper type situation. You didn't do anything, and now you're just like, oh golly gee, it came out of left field. What do I do? It's like, I don't know. Had you listened instead of being complete asshats, back with this whole time, you might have been prepared for this because we told you it was coming. Again, honesty and negativity are not the same thing. All right.
Yeah, I'm not happy about it because there are a lot of people that are not shooting their mouths off on social media or whatever that are just quietly losing their jobs, including a lot of industry vets. That being said, when it was obvious that things were not going to get better, that was the starting gun. You needed to start running. You needed to start finding another career path. And now it's getting to a point where the technology, the AI technology and the outsourcing, all this stuff is picking up so fast and snowballing so fast that I don't know if you have time to retrain, right?
You would have had to start before. You had to start. I mean, there are some industries that are similar enough. I think you can move to them, but you had to start this back when we told you this was going to be an issue.
4 or 5 years ago. And I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I am. I hope a lot of you find something if you're going to leave animation. I think that there are still going to be, I want to be very clear, I don't want to be completely Debbie Downer here, but I think there will be jobs in animation. There just will not be nearly as many of them. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
If you want to support us, go out to more.clownfishtv.com. That's more.clownfishtv.com, where there's more Clownfish TV. And also, for those of you who ordered the Christmas pins, they are on their way to us. So this is the geeky pin.
Hopefully I'm not that yellow when it comes.
I don't think you'll be that yellow. This is the photos were kind of dark. This is coming from the factory. So I don't know what the lighting conditions are like, fluorescent lighting. But no, they're on their way. So yeah. Thank you for that. Make sure you fill out your survey. Okay, so we've been talking about this. We just talked about this the other day, that the Paramount Skydance situation has resulted in the head of animation over there getting ousted, and her feelings were hurt. But she delivered several box office bombs. The only quasi hit they had was Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, which they're also canceling, I guess, the series for that. And we did know about that. But a lot of people in animation are getting fired because of the impending, Warner Brothers acquisition, where the hell's going to happen over there.
Well, whether it be Netflix or Paramount, either way,
either scenario is not good.
They're going to either way the companies that are buying them don't need all the animation stuff.
Right, and that's what we're trying to tell you is, like, as the stuff consolidates, basically Cartoon Network just becomes a brand, and I'm gonna be honest, that's what David Zaslav was here for. That's what he was here for. This happened at a company I worked at where they brought a guy in, a new CEO, And it was kind of weird. He was going around kind of changing things here, changing things there. And we're like, why is he doing it? It was all about curbside appeal because they had a 5 or 7 year plan to sell the company. When Zaslav came in, the plan was, I believe, to sell Warner Brothers again, but he had to give it curbside appeal. So you can already see how important animation was to Warner Brothers, where they weren't even releasing Looney Tunes themselves. They were letting other people release Looney Tunes. They're dumping the Looney Tunes stuff off of HBO Max and onto Tubi. They, with Cartoon Network, it's effectively shut down at this point. They use it as a brand, but the studio's gone. They shut down some of the stations. They shut the website down. Animation means jack shit to the current regime at Warner Brothers. And Netflix, they had a whole bunch of plans. They had a campus. They were going to be the next Disney, yada, yada, yada. Didn't happen. It was cheaper just to work with companies like Sony that did K-pop Demon Hunters or import anime or whatever it is than it was to throw a bunch of money at making stuff, it's very expensive, movies that nobody watched on their platform, unfortunately. And some of them are very good. But here we are. This is coming from Animation Career subreddit. The WB and Netflix merger is already having casualties, and the merger is already killing projects. So the Warner Brothers Netflix merger is having a disastrous effect on Warner Brothers and Hanna-Barbera animation slate, with projects potentially getting shelved because of the merger. I'm hearing that Warner Brothers is already beginning to shelve projects, and I'm concerned that Lara of the Stars and Adventure Time and the Webtoon projects and Starfire will be canceled, even though they would help revitalize the industry. They're just going to look at the watch time. That's it, man.
Well, yeah, especially with Netflix. Netflix, they have their own stuff, and a lot of stuff they do, like they do it in conjunction, like with K-pop Demon Hunters, it was with Sony. Like there other people will do it, and then they'll help maybe throw some money in it and bring it in. They don't need their own studio. And then Paramount, Skydance, they're already getting people over there because they're trying to put it under one big animation studio. So again, if they get it, they're gonna get rid of people.
Yeah. Considering Netflix has already abandoned investment in original 6 to 11 animations and new IPs in general, it's going to be a disaster. Yeah, they're not going to take chances for the most part on new IP unless somebody comes to them first.
Well, yeah, or it's already funded and they can just carry it and put their name on it or whatever. Yeah.
I'm concerned about Netflix potentially killing off Warner Brothers Animation and Hanna-Barbera Europe and go back to just outsourcing shows wholesale. That'll be Netflix,
Probably.
but also Paramount, Skydance. They're doing more animation, but they have Nickelodeon stuff too. But they're not, I guarantee you, they're not going to do as much. They're not going to cannibalize their own stuff. They'll be like, does it make sense to do a new SpongeBob or a new Batman? If they get Warner Brothers.
Well, I don't know. They might do both because both IPs bring money.
Well, that's it. But I'm saying is like,
I guess the comparison would be more like, is it worth doing more Batman and SpongeBob, or is it
or
worth,
something else?
Doing something else that is super far Tumblr fanfic thing. The
Tumblr fanfic era, the Steven Universe era, that shit's over. It's done. Like I think they have a Steven Universe movie in the pipeline or something. I would not be surprised if whoever bought Warner Brothers canceled a lot of the Cartoon Network stuff that's been announced.
It's sad because there were a lot of really good shows that was really cool back in the 2000s and stuff, like 2010s. They had all kinds of new original things, and they started out strong, like Adventure Time, which got weirder as it went along, and weird. But they had a lot of good things that were out there, and the ones that were still some of them got to keep going, like Gumball and stuff. But a lot of it is gone, and it wouldn't be greenlit today.
No, that's true. And they're just going to look at the metrics. Either one of these companies. I mean, we got the Ellisons on one hand, and I guarantee you the Ellisons are not going to greenlight your LGBTQ Tumblr.
No, they said they're interested in things that are going to succeed.
Yeah, they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna let you do your multi-million-dollar LGBTQ Tumblr fanfic
therapy session.
It's not going to happen. None of those shows, other than Adventure Time, brought any return on investment either, because you couldn't really merch them very well. I mean, they had some Steven Universe toys, but nobody bought them. They were on clearance almost immediately. Nobody gave a shit about it. Nobody wants the Greg Universe van playset. Sorry. Yeah, this person said Warner Brothers is one of the last studios in town that has in-house pre-production and post-production teams for most shows, and I'm concerned for everyone working there as someone who just applied for an internship. It doesn't seem like Netflix wants new animation or cares about animation as the last of their priorities. That's the weird thing about with Netflix was they were all about animation during the pandemic.
A lot of places were. They all were doubling, tripling down on it because they figured it could still be made even when things were shut down. But the problem was when they announced all that, everybody was already starting to go back to work. If they had announced it months prior, it would have made sense. So by the time they announced it, everybody was going back to the office anyway, and people weren't staying home to watch that stuff anymore. So it didn't. It just bit them in the butt, and they kept greenlighting the wrong things.
Yeah. So this is I'm not sure who this is. Jess M, who is an animator, illustrator in Vancouver, worked on some cartoons. Okay. They said so many cool, inventive, and interesting animated projects none of you even knew were being made for the past few years just got shit canned because of this Netflix Warner Brothers merger. Mm-hmm. When you're like, geez, there's no animation jobs. Geez, there's like no new shows anymore. This is why. Yeah. And we've been telling you, we've been hearing this
Yes, I don't want to hear it.
Like 2 years now that like the jobs are drying up. They're not greenlighting new stuff. They're playing it safe.
Well, not just that. It's just about when everything was going Highlander, everybody had their own companies and it was never going to be sustainable and they were all going to eat each other up. It was going to shrink the industry. And that was our industry that was already shrinking because a lot of jobs are going overseas.
Yeah.
It was already shrinking. This was like a no shit Sherlock moment.
And basically what happened is we had a lot of young animators, young hopefuls who were like, it's impossible. I went to school for this. They lied to me. I'm like, they didn't lie to you when you went to school, if it's, 4 years or whatever, when you applied, the industry was in a better place than it is right now.
Oh, come on. A lot of those art schools will lie to you.
I was going to bring that to you. Yes, they absolutely will lie to you.
Give me a moment. I'm an art teacher. They would totally effing lie to you. A lot of these places got, in trouble. I think SCAD was one of them because parents were like, they charge through the nose to go there. And then they're like, they're leading with there's going to be all this job placement that there isn't. The job placement they say there are. There was issues of parents going after them because of it. That's just one, but many of these art schools, some of them folded because of this. It's not a new thing. It's been going on for years. It was never what they said. They just want you're in there, especially these places that charge ridiculous money.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not, where are they going to say like, yeah, there's no future in this. Give us money. Come on.
I'm sure it's worded in such a way that, we think it's going to be, or something that they can get out of it legally. But yeah, these places are way more than they should cost. Let's be honest here. They are exponentially more expensive than they should be, and then they're charging you all that money. They're not, you said they're not going to tell you, hey, by the way, it's shrinking. Don't go into this field because then they won't make their money. They get their money. They don't care what the hell happens to you. Frankly.
Yeah. That's, and that's just it. That's welcome to business.
You know who cared? You know who cared about this stuff happening and trying to save you pain and suffering? Us. You know who got shit for telling you the truth? Us.
I know, right? It's like we weren't trying to be mean. It's just like, geez, we're telling you. We're telling you things are not good right now. You need to have a backup. That's all we're saying. That is all we were saying. So yeah, this person here said, wait, there are projects in development, people working on over there right now. They're in danger of getting scrapped. This person said constantly.
Yeah.
I can imagine, but I surely hope most new projects from Warner Brothers and Hanna-Barbera that were greenlit in 2024 and 2025 will be safe in some way because they have a very interesting slate. Yeah, they announced a whole bunch of Cartoon Network like sequel movies. I think the majority of them are going to get canceled.
Yeah, if it's Netflix especially, they're not, you might get a little bit more on Paramount.
Maybe a little
more because they said they're going to put more stuff out. But if it's Netflix, I think it's probably gone. And just because it's been greenlit, last year earlier and it's been announced doesn't mean that's going to stay that way. We've seen it many times, like when Disney bought, Fox assets and they had the animation studio there. Was it Blue Sky Animation?
Yeah.
They canceled a bunch of things and some of them were almost completed.
Yes. It's
Nimona
crazy.
was one of them, and then
Nimona
Netflix
was one
picked
of
it
them.
up or whatever. It was Netflix? One of them picked it up.
Netflix. Yeah, but it was another studio went in and finished it.
Then Netflix got it brought in after. Yes.
And that was one of the rare cases because at that particular time, Netflix was very interested in animation, but I don't think that would happen now. Mm-hmm. I think they would just be like, yeah, just whatever. We get more watch time off of crap that we're just importing or reality shit or
they don't need to. They just bring anime over. They're all fighting for anime. They're all fighting for K-drama. They're all fighting for these shows that are from overseas, and they're getting them, and people are watching those. Why they need to spend a lot of money? I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying the reality. That's it. What we've been telling you the whole time is the reality. We're not saying that we think it's the right thing and it's okay, but we're just telling you the truth. Two things can be true at once.
The truth is, if you want to make the kinds of animation you want to make, you're gonna have to do it on your own.
Right, and then
you're not gonna get
then
that's not
sell
gonna
it
be
to
bankrolled
Netflix or something.
Then you sell it to Netflix, right? You pull a has-been hotel, whatever. You get your stuff out there, and yet people are like, "But that's so hard." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. That's how it used to be, though. That's how it used to be."
I don't know. Very hard.
We had
somebody who makes things.
We had 10 years where randos on Tumblr or people that had very, very little cred in their early 20s could get handed millions of dollars for shows, and that's over. And that's never coming
paid back. That, but for the show.
No, but the budget, like millions and millions of dollars. Some of them got to work on established IP, ruined set
they
IP,
ruined
whatever.
it. Shira.
But you know what I'm saying? Like that was unprecedented. That never happened before, where they just like handed kids basically a shit ton of money and say, "Here, just go make whatever the hell you want." That was flush this, please. Yeah, there was so much money. They're just like, we don't know what to do with it all. Just flush some of it down the toilet, I guess.
It probably was. It's probably like, there's so much money. We need write-offs.
Yeah, probably.
This is gonna bomb, very, very hard. So let's get some write-offs in there. But they said already heard one project has been canceled effective immediately. Even if it's greenlit, and they're like surprised. Like, how are you surprised by this? Where have you been? Where have you been?
I don't think a lot of people know how things actually work. I mean, hell, we know people that have had stuff optioned.
But that's what they want to do for a living. Shouldn't they know how it works?
No, they're just supposed to draw stuff and feel good about themselves. That's how it works. But like, I mean, people get stuff optioned all the time that never happens. People have pilots greenlit. It never happens. People get really close. It just, especially with animation. I'd say in animation it's probably more common than it is in live action, because animation is such a huge time sink.
And money sink.
And there's no real easy way to monetization other than merchandise, right? I mean, it's a very different.
Luckily, with animation, merchandising usually goes hand in hand because they're usually very, cohesive to each other, but not always.
Usually. Now, so that Jess M, that was the original poster, said, "You can understand why nobody's excited about this now. That'd be the merger. I'm so tired. We'll never know what we just lost." And this person's like, "It won't be for a while. I hope there's a breakup fee." Well, yeah, it doesn't change anything. And people are like, "Why don't the employees just leak the canned
because you can't
projects?" This person, Maze here, who is from Quebec, said, "Finding a job trumps getting sued. Only if you get caught." No, they'll find out who you are. They will. If only 5 people know about a thing and it gets leaked, guess who's getting a phone call from a lawyer?
That's why when people have given us information on things or have we talked before back Rooster Teeth, for example, when they had the situation with their animators, we were very careful not even to use a gendered pronoun, not because we're like pronoun police, but because we wanted to make sure that people didn't know even if it was a male or female who were giving us information, because it was such a small sampling of people.
Yeah, only a handful of people knew about it, and they would be able to narrow it down pretty quickly. And I guarantee you, if you're working on an animated project, there's not as many cooks in the kitchen in a lot of cases as there are on live action productions, because you don't have a bunch of people coming in to do the sets and whatever. You got, they're going to find out who the hell you are. Trust me, they will find out who you are. And you are looking at lawsuit. You're looking at jail time. You're looking at
your
blacklisting.
Probably you can't. There's NDAs and all that crap. Yeah, it's not worth. It's not worth future career to announce this stuff.
Right. I mean, just to be like, look, I'm one of the good guys. Hey, look, we were going to get a whole new Steven universe.
Everybody who always wants them to go do that and be the one to take the risk, lose nothing. Like they don't.
Exactly.
They all would demand, well, you should do this and you should do that and you should, call out so and so and everything else. I'm like, you say that from a warm chair where you will face no repercussions, but the people that you want to go do that to destroy and burn it down for your benefit will face the repercussions.
This person here worked on this show. He said, "I don't know all the details." Yeah, because they won't tell you all the details as to why they canceled it or whatever. He said, "We had a whole kids animation series in pre-production until COVID. It got hit and it got canceled. Since it was the only thing we were working in, I was made redundant. It sucks that more projects are being canceled because of things like this. Years of work gone." And again, it's been hastening. It's been, there was more of an appetite, more of a budget for animation with all these streaming services when they didn't know what was going to work, right? Like HBO Max, I know, was greenlighting a whole bunch of shit at the beginning. And then they're like, yeah, nobody's really watching animation. So more Game of Thrones, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just, what's this one here? This is another one. Yeah, this project's been canceled. And I think the reality is starting to set in. Now, I don't want to be, again, Debbie Downer or whatever, because I've seen a lot of posts on here, unfortunately, where people are like, "I'm just going to leave the industry and I'm never coming back and my life is over." I'm like, Your life is not over. It's a job. I get you want to do it, but you got to look at it realistically and like, look, you still got your health. Are you still good? Can you do something else?
Yeah, a lot of times you can find other things that will tie into what you're doing now that you can jump to a different industry and probably get paid more. You never can have, people can't take away from you what you've learned. So there's that too. But it is what it is. And I'm like, we told you guys, be prepared for this. And you know how many times there's like the whole hate threads, dedicated to us for telling you the fucking truth?
There are entire threads, an entire YouTube channel was dedicated to hating on us because we were trying to tell you. And it turned out that there were veterans coming out. There were teachers. There was a teacher from SCAD that was like, I would never tell somebody to go into animation. Now I can't tell you who I am, but this person here, it's bleak out there. Animation as a career is dead and an idiotic decision at this point in time. I've been in the game for 12 plus years, and it's never been this bad. Everyone keeps saying it'll get better next year and next year, and next year has yet to show up. This person who is a professional, right there, top 1% poster, agreed. 8 years. 2 years ago, everyone was like, survive until 24 and then 25, and now look, it's still not better. Hashtag Clownfish was right, and I wish to God we were not. I wish to God we were not.
We're telling you, you guys need to plan ahead for this or start your own thing, because you can still do your own thing and then get it funded by fans, get it funded, other ways. There's other things to get around it. Honestly, you're best to go do something else completely. But like when a lot of these things were greenlit and stuff during COVID, it wasn't even because they thought people would watch more animation. It was because when things were shut down, animation could still move forward because people could work on it at home. That's why they did it. It wasn't because it was like, oh, there's such a great demand for animation more than ever. No, because we had anime and all that stuff. There wasn't. They just thought that if everything else was shut down, they could still move forward on that. That was the thought process. It wasn't even about demand. It was what can we still make in a shutdown. Now they're being honest.
Yeah. And then what happened? Was the double strikes, which, oh my God, guys, they bit you in the ass too, because they're like, well, we'll just import stuff from overseas. We don't have to deal with the unions. Then they're like, well,
jobs,
fewer jobs. And it's like, well, people watch this stuff just as much as the stuff we make here. Why are we paying so much to make it here?
And now those unions that, would have been backing you guys, supporting you guys and stuff for this, they're already heading over. Let's go to podcasting now, guys. Let's go take over YouTube now, guys. Because they're looking for the next big thing to get stick their whatever in and claim they own it.
Whatever.
And claim they own it,
Put the nib in the inkwell, please. Do it again. So this is wild. So these are people that I would say for the most part are probably left-leaning, if not far left, right? And they're actually rooting for the Yellow Saints to get a hold.
Well, that's I think where they're at. Of the two, it's the lesser of two evils, because to them, you might lose CNN, but they're probably going to keep more animation going than Netflix will. So they're their best hope for continuing to have jobs. And Paramount wants a lot of, IP is to do that. But Paramount also said they are only going to double down on things that have mass appeal.
They have mass appeal. And also remember that dirty scoundrel John Lasseter is in charge over there.
Yeah, the one he might hug you. Oh, no.
He might hug you. And they fired the woman that was in charge of theatrical animation.
Or she quit or something because she was so insulted when they were blunt.
She was so insulted. They told her your shit's not performing. Your shit's not performing. I mean, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? You have a business that's failing. The reason that Paramount got sold was they were failing. And the Bobs call you into the office. For those of you who've seen Office Space, the Bobs call you in. They're like, what do you do here? Well, I make a lot of movies that lose you a lot of money. And what are you supposed to say to that? Like, well, you know what? We're going to renew your contract. Please keep making movies that keep losing us money for the next 5 years. Because we love losing money.
That was the mindset, though, that these people, not necessarily this person that you're talking about, but in general, we've been talking about it for years, that they felt that this stuff should double, triple down on these agenda choices that were costing the studios all kinds of money because it's just the right thing to do. It's like, but they still have to make money or you're not going to have a job. And look what happened. It's almost like we said this is going to happen. Oh, wait, we did.
Yeah, so just so you know, you're not alone. You can go out. There are all kinds of articles being written now. People looking to change careers, people that have been doing this for a very long time. Again, we have people that have been in this industry for decades that are out of work. It's not just you. It's not an ageism thing. It's just it is the way that it is right now. It doesn't mean things aren't going to come back at some point in time, but for now.
Not for a long time.
Not for a long time.
Not in the same way that it's been.
No, but the upside, which we've said before, and this is how we'll close out. The upside is there has never been a better time to be able to make your own stuff, to have the ability to make your own stuff, to get it seen by thousands, if not millions of people, you've got access to the internet. That's something that is a very recent thing in terms of animation, historically speaking. There's a massive game changer, and most of the big hits now are actually coming from people that started out on the internet. So you can do it yourself. Some people don't have what it takes to do it themselves.
Or you could take your art and design background and go find another job that
you
is
could
more
do that
secure
too.
and pays a hell of a lot better.
That is true. That is true. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up.
Yes.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.